Hey guys, Bryan here, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about something that's been on my mind recently, and that's the war in games between complexity on this end and depth on this end, and they go together like this, very much so. And eh, the easiest way to explain it, in my opinion, is depth allows for different play styles, different ways of looking at things. And every time you log in or what have you, log in, I'm talking about PlanetSide 2 here. I was just playing that. Log in, put the game in, start it up, press start, whatever. You can learn something new about it. And a lot of games recently don't offer that, in my opinion. It's most of the games in the last probably 5 years have just been shoot 'em ups like Call of Duty. We just shoot people. There isn't really any strategy. I mean, you'll probably lose, but the strategy that people claim it has is, in my opinion, fake strategy. It's not learning anything. You're just exploiting a weakness in the game's design, because those games are very flawed, in my opinion. They don't. I don't. Just don't get me started on this. So, um, and then complexity. It's just a step. It's just an obstacle in between retaining a player. And again, talking in terms of MMOs or games like that, where player retention is the most important thing. If we need to avoid these obstacles. So, as an example, we take Kingdom Hearts. This is the first one that comes to mind. That you could just spam buttons on the controller to get all the way through the game, but the combat system in it is incredibly deep because you can sit there and figure everything out about it. There's a lot of time you can devote to that, and that's what depth means to me. And it's not. I don't want to call it devoting time, but you can learn something about it. You're always looking and you're always seeing new things. Where on the other hand, the gummy ship was just complexity. What did what purpose? I gotta pull up a page here I had on it because I had to look it up. It'd been like years since I played it. I never actually really liked it. My friend across the street always made me play it when I was younger. Like you had to get the parts for the ship. You needed to craft the components and convert them into ship pieces, and they didn't really do anything, and you didn't really need to do what you're doing because the stock ship you used was good enough anyway. So it's just this stupid mechanic that doesn't really mean anything, and it's in there because some people are drawn to complexity, I guess. Sometimes I am. I mean, I have a little picture here. Here it is. So like I said, they're constantly at war with each other, and I gotta say, most where you see them at war the most is in strategy games. Um, coming to my mind is Crusader Kings 2. If you haven't played that, it's incredibly complex. So it's all the way down here. But I'd have to say it probably forms the other 90-degree angle over here. You can kind of do anything in that game. It's kind of ridiculous. I spent probably a couple weeks over the summer playing that game every day, and didn't know what the hell I was doing. It's actually kind of funny. It's fun though, I guess that demonstrates the intricacies of ruling an empire. So, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have games like Call of Duty that have some of this depth. They probably float if every 1 inch represented 1 degree, I guess. They would float probably at half a degree down towards on the depth line, because they didn't really take any risks. It's you go there, you shoot a guy. You go here, you shoot a guy. I mean, there's some other game modes that you can play, but in the end, it's still you shoot a guy. Battlefield, I mean, they introduced some more depth with the vehicles and the support roles and being able to blow holes in things being able, the cover changes dynamically, and I think they focus much more on team play, but again, they're still not very deep. Whereas PlanetSide 2, which is what I was playing earlier, which made this come to my mind, it's I don't want to say it's a great game. It's a good game. I really enjoy it. But enough of that. Enough of reviews. In my mind, it has a lot of depth. It has a lot of layers of combat that in a big fight or a well executed fight, you'll see those play out. Where my outfit, that's like a clan in PlanetSide, the Four Aces. You can go check them out on Google. We're pretty good. We're in a big fight, and our infantry was capturing the point, flipping the base to our side. We were capturing it, and an enemy liberator, which is like a bomber, came over, and we had to call in air support from some friendlies nearby, and they took care of it. And off in the distance, you could hear tank cannons going at it, and I just thought that it's incredibly deep that there's this many things that can be going on. I mean, it's incredibly deep for a shooter. It's probably not very deep, but at the same time, it's not complex. They took more of a risk with the way that they made their game, but their game, PlanetSide 1, was like that anyway, so again, it's not really a risk. They knew it would work. But back to strategy games, I don't know how I wandered off there for that long. I want to say Civilization it's like the epitome of depth. And it's not that complex that you can't figure it out, because there's only a few mechanics that add all this depth. The research system, the nation's specific units, their different victory conditions, religion. I actually never really used religion very much. Culture, the trade routes. There's kind of these, I want to say there's probably less than 10 key components into that game and make it up. And I got to think of another game. I'm drawing blanks, but I'm sure you guys can think of a game where there's all these unique little mechanics that aren't explored very well, and they don't really do anything except hinder you into not wanting to play eventually, because that's all complexity adds, is an obstacle to you wanting to play. And I think that's why they're always at war, is because as we get deeper, we begin to add complexity. And, they're obviously always at war. As just a final note, and especially since I really like early access, and I just really enjoy that a lot. I got a Steam key for Dwarf Corp earlier in my email. I'll hopefully throw that up on the channel. But anyway, feature creep is something that pisses me off to no end, and it ties into this. When developers get near the end of the development cycle and they're getting close, they're like, oh, this is finished. Is it? Maybe we want to do this. And you look back and you're like, well, I want to add this in. Well, I want to add this in. And I want to add this in. And you're adding all these features that you're not really exploring because you're not taking the proper time to develop said mechanic in the game. And this just adds, like I said, complexity. For instance, Banished. I talk about it in one of my videos earlier. I think it was our first video on the channel, actually. The developer was adding all these features that were kind of at best. I don't really care. So, I guess one was crop rotation, and he added it in, and he said he play tested it, and he was like, well, this is just more annoying than anything else because seasons pass so fast in this game that I'm having to constantly scroll back over to my farm fields and stare at them and figure out how I'm going to make this work and rotate the crops and let one lie fallow and the other one not lie fallow and figure out what I'm going to grow. And he just finally removed it because he realized it didn't mean anything in the game. Like, what did it mean? In the end run, what does it mean? So I think that's an important thing when you're developing a game or working on a game, or even just buying a game, playing a game, reviewing a game. You gotta think about like these mechanics that are like, like what my game has crop rotation in it. What does that mean? What? Who really cares? It's just something else I gotta worry about as I'm playing. Another obstacle to victory. And I digress off of that point, and I'm on to another one. This one's a big one. This one grinds my gears more than anything else. If you're gonna make a game, and it's gonna be beautiful, this is PlanetSide 2 related. It looks pretty good. It's not bad. I think it looks gorgeous myself. If you're gonna make a game, make it beautiful in DirectX 11 or DX9. Make it just gorgeous. Why make all these areas that no one's ever gonna see or care about? So I'm gonna flip over here. I took these screenshots, and we were on top of a cliff with Skyguard lightnings, and the terrain's beautiful, and there's just no one there. There's no reason to be there. There's no one around. Weren't near any bases. These are different pictures. I didn't realize they were in here, but they're pretty cool. Anyway, there's just no one there. There's no reason to be there. And that annoys me to no end. Like, someone's getting paid to make these beautiful terrains, and no one ever looks at them. This game is cutscenes. Like, cutscene guys must feel really stupid, because when I was younger anyway, I mean, I don't know about you guys, I skipped cutscenes like no tomorrow. I never paid attention to story. I didn't realize Halo 2 had a story until I was in like the 7th grade. And I'm 18, so that tells you. But more importantly, on our way to the top of that cliff, we drove through like this beautiful grassland. There's like a stream in the middle with trees for cover and like rocks and like flanking positions, and no one has probably ever fought there in the history of the game. Ever. I would bet money on it, because there is nothing nearby. All of the like fighting takes place at bases, or immediately adjacent to a base, or like in the case of Vanu Archives and NS Secure Data Research, something like that, in that little field, and that's usually armor columns fighting each other. But like, I really wish, and a member of my outfit was talking about it, they had little outposts or like things you could set up to piss people off, make them come out of the bases, make them fight in the grasslands, fight in the mountains. Give us a reason to be there. And I really hope they add that in. And you know what, SOE, if you're watching this and you got to this point for some reason, you should probably take my advice. Do something like this. Make us set up ambushes outside on the roads. Make us do things that are fun. It's a military game. We're supposed to be doing things like that, not fighting in bases all day long. Because after a while, staring at a letter like A, B, or C, or D. I saw someone's a D. Those are new for me. Hadn't played in a while. It's boring. And giving us new vehicles is like, like, I guess the Harasser was a good addition. I mean, it adds some depth. It gives us another thing we can work with. Fast movers. I know my outfit has a specific strategy we use with those, and it works very well for us. Give us somewhere else to fight. Give us a reason to fight in other places. So, yeah, I guess I'm done. I don't want to rant. So, remember, as always, Like, comment, subscribe if you like what we're doing. Leave us comments. I love comments. I love to reply to comments, especially since I don't get any comments other than Dan's comments or myself looking at my own videos. So, yeah, just do that and see you next time.